Well, good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining me. Bob Spitz here with Management Success. Got a fun webinar for you tonight, having to do with the basics and the importance of getting these basics in place in your business. You know, one of the things I've noticed over the years, and I've been at Management Success now for 22 of its 23 years, is when clients stop getting consulting or they just go on their own, the first thing that tends to drop out are the basics. And it's the basics that are so important to make sure that they stay in. You know, they don't have a consultant hammering on them anymore to make sure they're doing these things. And, you know, it's easy. I understand. Look, you know, as I love to say, the great thing about owning your own shop is there's no one there to tell you what to do. But the horrible thing about owning your own shop is there's no one there to tell you what to do, right? And it gets tough out there, and I understand that. So I want to do this webinar to touch on the basics and help you get some of these basic points back in place so that you can do better, and especially with the fall coming up, be more prepared for all of that. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're doing a webinar called The Gauges of Your Business. And that's just another name for your statistics. I just happen to like gauges. I thought it was a good play on words there. So we're going to be doing The Gauges of Your Business. For those of you, and I think you all know us, we've been around since 1993, 23 years now with a single purpose, and that's to help you make some money. All right, we do that with workshops, consulting, coaching. We build custom websites. We provide SEO service, social media service, and we put on these awesome conventions twice a year. The fall one is coming up. I hope you've signed up to come. It's a great way to get energized again and revitalized and get focused on what's important and make your life a little bit easier. Now, helping me tonight is my good friend Peyton Knight from Knight's Automotive. Peyton, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yes, like Bob says, my shop is in Ledgewood, New Jersey. I've been with Management Success and using their technology and statistics since 1997. So I've been through everything, the ups and downs, and the basics are very, very important because we all tend to drop them out once in a while, and you can see it right away, quick on your bottom line. So we're here to help you guys get back on board.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Peyton and I were talking earlier, and we were talking about the two dangerous times in a shop, and one is when it's really slow, because when you're really slow, a lot of the standard procedures, your systems tend to fall out because you don't need to do all those things because it's slow. But when you drop those things out, when you get busy, now it's chaotic because you're not doing the standard actions anymore. So it is a discipline, and I know it's tough, but you got to keep these points in place so that you survive well. All right, we're going to move forward here. I'm going to be asking you polling questions throughout the webinar, and that helps focus the presentation on you and helps you get more value out of this webinar. It keeps me on track. Now, if you've got a question during the webinar, there's a little box on your screen there. It says questions. Just type it in, and what will happen is a hand will show up on my screen. You won't see the hand, but I do. And I know that I've got a question, and we'll do the best job we can to answer any questions that you might have during the webinar. If I can't get to you, there'll be a survey at the end. You can put comments in there. Or if you'd like to talk to Peyton, if anybody wants to talk to you personally, can they give you a call?
Absolutely.
What number would be the best number?
Well, if they want to call me right away after it, my shop is 973-927-0114. And I'll be available for another hour or two tonight, hour and a half. You can call me on my cell, 973-202-6691.
All right, great. Thanks, Peyton. Okay, so let's get down to business here. The purpose of this service is to give you insight on what numbers you must track to keep your finger on the pulse of your business. It says your figure, it's supposed to be your finger, and yeah, and to get a no obligation consultation. As always, you know, if you need some help, you've lost direction, we've got some things that we can help you with. All right, Let's get this show on the road. I want you to think of your business as a machine. All right? Any for-profit business, I think of virtually the same way. They are sales and production machines. That's what they are. You're selling a service and you're producing that goods or that service to a consumer. Well, if you think of this thing as a machine, then you think it's got to run properly, this machine. It's got to be monitored and it's got to be adjusted and it's got to be serviced. So this machine of yours is really, really important. Well, what's the goal of this machine? It's not an alignment machine. Well, we know the goal of an alignment machine, and that's a properly aligned vehicle. But what's the goal of this machine, your business? Well, the goal of this is profit. That's what this machine is supposed to be producing, right? So what's causing it to not be profitable? That's what we want to look at. You want to watch these gauges on this machine, and these gauges come from your profit and loss statement. And that's your sales and income, your cost of goods, and your cost of labor. Those are the three big buckets to watch for on a profit and loss statement. Because from those, I can tell a lot about any business. So those are the first three things, and we'll drill down from here, but those are the first ones that we're going to look at, is those three numbers. If your sales is running out of gas, I want you to look at these points. No or bad PR marketing plan, poor execution of a plan. You know, a bad plan executed is better than a great plan never executed. At least you're doing something. So, you know, poor execution, that's important, right? But it's more important than no execution. Wrong people on the front, or the front people have no sales training. I see that as a mistake all the time. No sales target. The people on the front, they don't know how much they're supposed to be selling. Or you got poor production, or you got all of this stuff going on. Well, we're going to break this down, and Peyton and I are going to have a discussion about these points, and hopefully it'll shed some light for you on any situation that you're running into, and maybe come up with some solutions. So let's first talk about PR and marketing plan. I think it's vitally important for the owner of any business, whether they do their own marketing or not, that they're educated in this field of PR and marketing. Peyton, as a shop owner, how important is this to you?
Absolutely, because when you're looking to market, to expand, you need to market your business. You need to know what to do. If you just go out and hire somebody to do it, and there's a lot of marketing companies out there that says they're marketers, but they really aren't for the automotive industry. It's different to market Coca-Cola or beer as it is to market auto repair. And you need someone who knows how to do that. But you yourself as the owner need to be able to look at a piece, if it's going to be if it's going to work, if it has the right points on it, the features, the attract features, the buttons, all the things, if it's laid out properly. So when that person gets it in the mail, they look at it right away, because you only have a split second to get their attention. And as the owner, you need to make sure the pieces that are going to get that phone to ring and get people in your door is going to work well for you.
Right.
And getting educated and getting trained on that is what the owners of the business have to do. We do that all of the things we have to be trained on. Marketing is a big part of it.
Yeah. I think, if I had a choice as a shop owner to be technically trained or trained in this area, I would take this area.
Yeah, you got to keep customers coming in the door. Like I say to everybody, fixing the cars is really the easy part. They don't talk back. They don't, fixing the cars is the easy part. It's the rest of the business that's tough.
Yeah. What about the PR aspect of the business? Because I know a lot of shops don't even venture into that aspect of the business.
Right. With today's social media and everything, you got to get out there. You got to get your face out there. You got to knock on doors. You have to be part of local organizations. You got to keep your name out there so people know where you are. Bob, we always talk about it. Go to a local whatever deli or something and ask the people, hey, where's your business? Where's Knights Automotive? See if they know where you are. That's part of PR and marketing. You need to be out there. We do the Wheels to Prosper. It's a great, great thing.
For those of you who don't know, that's a car giveaway.
Yeah, and we give a car away, giveaway every year, and it goes on the web, and we have video of it. I recently did a video. I had someone video me, and at the shop, it was a 30-second video. It got over 3,000 hits on social media.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was simple. It was just some pictures of our shop, and we got it out there. And you got to be out there in the public's face. You got to be walking around, knocking on doors. I go out every so often and hit local businesses just to let them know that what we offer and where we are.
yeah. And you brought up a good point. As an owner, even if you're not doing your own per se advertising, you're not developing your own pieces. You're having someone else actually do the legwork. It's so important that you know what works and what doesn't work. There's a funny story, and it happens to be Peyton's wife, Nancy, and this was years ago when Yellow Pages was still a very hot way of promoting and advertising your business. A Yellow Page rep came in and was trying to sell Nancy on this Yellow Page ad. And the poor girl, Nancy, took her apart so badly with questions that she couldn't answer. Because the truth of the matter is, people who sell advertising aren't necessarily very good at advertising. They're very good at sales of advertising, right? And so it just saved Peyton and Nancy a ton of dough by not investing in something that wasn't going to work.
Correct.
Yeah, that was good. I remember Nancy calling me and telling me about that. Okay, I've got a polling question here for you. Have you attended the Management Success Advanced Marketing Workshop? Let me open up my polling questions here, select a poll, and let's launch this. It should be up on your screen now. I'm just curious. It's either a yes or a no. Okay, I'll leave it open another 5 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me close this and I'll share this with you. All right. Well, I got it. I would advise you to do it if you haven't done it. Peyton, would you advise people to do this course?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It will change the volume in your shop.
Yeah.
It will change the car count.
It's really that kind of powerful. All right, let me hide that. Let's move forward. The next thing, you got to have a great website. And this is kind of funny. I asked Peyton if he'd help me, and on this particular presentation, I have his website. And you can Google his website, knightsautomotive.com, and take a look at it and poke around in it. You got to have a great website. Don't be penny wise and dollar foolish here. Have whoever you have build your website, make sure they know the automotive industry. That's so important. And remember, your website is your virtual shop. It's what people see. They're going to probably find you through Yelp or Yellow Pages Online or some other directory, but then they're going to go to your website and they're going to want to take a look at you and your shop. So having a great website is critical, and strong social media presence, as Peyton was saying earlier, man, that's the way people find you anymore. You watch everybody, they're walking around with a phone. They do everything on their phone. So having that strong social media presence is vital. Having a great website is vital. How important are these 2 points to you, Peyton?
Well, absolutely. Actually, when I do the statistics on direct marketing and my website, and mostly my website, Google and my website, it costs me a lot less money to get a new customer that way than it does with the regular marketing. Not that I don't drop, I still have the regular marketing, but when I do the stats on it, the website and Google bring in a tremendous amount of people, and it is a cost saving there.
Oh yeah, the cost per lead is so.
And your website is advertising 24/7. When I see people looking to get service and going to service at Knights Automotive, it's in the middle of the night. It's all different kinds of hours, so I'm not here, but they're seeing my shop. They're looking at it, and then they're asking me questions about what's going on with my shop or their car. And it's Saturday night, Sunday morning, and we come into work. Well, I have it actually on my phone. If I want to reply to them, because my email comes to my phone, I can reply to someone. So it's out there 24/7 marketing for you.
Yeah, it absolutely is. All right, I got another polling question for you. This is a new service that Management Success has, and it is the Mastering Your Social Media Workshop, where you really learn how to master social media, things like Yelp, how to utilize it, what to look for, how to make it work for you. All right, let me give it another 5 seconds here. Okay, let me close this. Let me share this with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know, Peyton, that Nancy is pretty savvy in the area of social media, but it's not an area that you were well trained in, but I think you're actually coming out for this workshop, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be out there the 2 days before the convention to take that course. But I will tell you, we got on the phone with Brandon. He's in the web department and social media department, and we were going to a couple of things on our website and the Google and this, that, and the next thing. And boy, did he change them. We got so many more hits on our website and our pages just by knowing what to do, changing a few things, getting the things that you can get for free.
Yeah.
To make yourself stand out more. You don't. It's not always a cost. It's just knowing what to do. And it was amazing how much he changed it for us.
Yeah. Brandon's a little scary with what he knows, but it's like shocking. But he did work for Yelp, so he has a very good idea of what they do and what they can do and what they can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're in a very transitional period of our lives, and I've seen the mistake of shops being very thankful that they don't have to pay for their Yellow Page advertising anymore, which was dreadfully expensive, and they dump their direct mail because postage is expensive, and they go all electronic, and then they wonder what happened because their business is going into a slump. Well, that's because we're in a transitional period. You can't, right now in history, you got to know your demographics. What is the age group of the people who you do business with? Because you can't do one and not do the other. In your overall campaign, your plan, your marketing plan, you got to do them all. I'm a little old school. I do go to my mailbox every night, and I look through everything. Now, I am interested in advertising. I'm interested in marketing, so I kind of look at mail a little differently than others. But boy, I look through my mail every night, and I did a casual survey here of some millennial staff members at Management Success, meaning they're in their 20s, and I asked them, do you check your mail, and how often do you check your mail? And I was really surprised. Some of them said, I never check my mailbox. There's nothing in there important. If it's important, it's coming in on my phone. Another one said, yeah, I check it maybe once a week. So, you've got those demographics you've got to consider. Peyton, do you still maintain a direct mail presence?
Yeah, absolutely. We send out quite a bit of direct mail, and it still brings in a very good amount of clientele. I just did that recent one, that Truth or Myth, and I found a certain part of the county that is really pulling quite well from.
Really?
It's an older, pulling excellent from a little bit older crowd, kind of fairly wealthy. And it's pulling like crazy. It really rings in good with them. So, but they are older. They're going to be they're going to be 60, 65 coming in here. But I will tell you another thing: they have the money to spend.
Exactly. They've got the discretionary income. They can do it.
They have the money. Yeah.
And if you folks would like to know about this campaign Peyton is running called Truth or Myth, and it has to do with dealership shenanigans, give him a call. I'm sure he'd be willing to share the piece with you and talk to you about it. All right, so make sure you maintain your direct mail presence. And of course, this is the oldest. If you did nothing else, no other form of marketing, you've got to have a referral program. And anymore, online social media is the referral program. People look at those reviews, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be asking people at the counter, giving them your business card, asking them for reviews. Now, you can't play games with them. You can't offer them something to put a review up, but ask them for those reviews because it is that kind of important. Are you finding that to be true, Peyton?
Absolutely. Customers do like to refer you, but it's not always in the top of their mind. So you have to kind of just get them, lead them on a little bit. We have a referral program where if they refer somebody to us, we send out, it's like a little credit card looking thing, and it's a $20 off any service they come back for. So
Right, exactly. You
they
know,
come to the counter, I offer them, I give them 2 business cards with the referral program on the back of the card.
mhm.
We explain it to them. Hey, are you happy with our service? You've been a customer for us for years. Do you have any friends or relatives that, complain about car repair or something? Could you do me a favor and just refer us?
Yeah. And something that I've always suggested, and I know you or Nancy have done this, Peyton, is one of the first things you want to do is survey your customers and ask them, if you were to refer a customer to me, what would you appreciate in the way of a thank you? Because you'll get to know what they want, cash bonus, movie tickets, coupon to a place to get dinner, a car wash, nothing at all. You got to know the ethnics of your area, and that's all part of market research. So I recommend you do that. I
Hmm.
see some people signed on late. I am recording this, so don't worry. You have missed some important things, but you can ask for the recording, and we'll get it out to you. All right. Next step. You've got to measure your marketing effectiveness. Now we're getting back into management here. We're getting back into managing by statistics, managing what's called KPIs, key performance indicators. How many people are calling or coming in? Most of you have a shop management system, whether it be Mitchell, AllData, RO Writer, especially on the East Coast, RO Writer, EasyRO. All of these guys provide you with a report that tells you what is working if you will document it on the customer's ticket when the customer shows up. In other words, if Peyton was coming to my shop and it was the first time he was there, I'd say, thank you so much. And by the way, what led you to bring your car to us? Because I want to know. I want to know, was it Google? Was it Yellow Pages? Was it an ad they saw? Was it, my PR campaign? So that at the end of the month, I can look at a report and know where my advertising dollars make sense to spend. It's all part of a crucial point of managing your business. So let's make sure we manage our marketing effectiveness. All right. I've got another polling question here for you. And how do you market your shop? Let me launch this. You can pick more than one. All right, let me close this and share the results. Well, that's a good balance there.
Hmm.
67%, maybe that's referral. I'm not sure what that is. I'm surprised no email campaigns, MailChimp or Constant Contact. That's something you might want to look into. Of course, we teach that in our marketing. So you might want to take a look at doing email campaigns. And if you're not sure, give us a call. All right, let me hide this. And I got another polling question here for you. What percentage of your gross sales do you budget for marketing? All right, let me close this and share it with you. Do you see the response, Peyton?
Yes, I do.
So, what would you say to the 75% who don't have a marketing budget?
Well, you need to have a marketing budget because that is your future. You need to keep marketing to keep your business going because people leave, people buy new cars, and they leave for many different reasons, not that you did anything wrong. They pass away, they move. There's many, many different things. And actually, Bob, right now, unfortunately, you're going to have to spend a little more on your marketing than you did, 15 years ago, because the dealerships are getting very, very aggressive. All the businesses are getting very aggressive out there. They see what the independent market can generate because it's cash work, where the dealers were always making, it's warranty work. They're going after the cash work. They're giving free oil changes away. Look at that marketing camp. Free oil changes keeps a customer for them for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Every week, I get a customer comes in. I go, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? Mm-hmm. Bought a new car. I've been getting free oil changes. I'm done with the free oil changes. I'm back to you. Nothing against me, but free is free. So, right. And it's not really free, and we can go into that whole thing in another time. But so you have to educate your customers. But I'll probably be sending anywhere between 8 and 10% this year on my marketing. It's going to be a big number.
Yeah. And here's the other problem with not having a budget. If you don't have a budget, you don't know what to spend. If you're waiting to the end of the month to see if there's anything left to spend, there is never anything left to spend. It's just a cost of doing business. Our rule of thumb is 5 to 8%. But if you're in a condition of emergency, it's got to be more than that. And as Peyton said, with the aggression of the dealerships, you got to plan on around 10% in your marketing budget. So if you need help coming up with a budget, let us know. All right, let me hide this, and let's move forward here. The next area that will affect your sales is your front people. They'll either make or break your business. It's all about attitude, it's about training, and it's aptitude. Not everybody is right for the front of a shop. I think you and I have talked about this, Peyton, and maybe you remember, maybe you don't, because it's a long time ago. One of the first questionnaires you filled out when you come on the Management Success Program is, do you enjoy sales or do you consider it a necessary evil?
Yes, I remember that.
And you'd be surprised how many people say it's a necessary evil. Well, I don't have to look much further to find the first black hole in that shop.
Right.
Someone's on the counter who doesn't like sales. It's, it's like, come on. So how important is this area for you, Peyton?
Well, it does make or break your shop. Mike Lee said if you're slow, a lot of it's your service writer.
Yeah.
They keep people coming back. They stay in touch with it. They create relationships with them. I see with my service writer, people come in, they ask for her. I remember early on when I was doing the service writing myself, and then I hand it over to a service writer, and a customer comes in, and where's so-and-so, my service writer? I go, well, can I help you? Yeah, who are you? I'm the owner. Yeah, but I'm here to see so-and-so. I've created this monster, but it's what I wanted.
That's right.
And that's a great thing. And that's what you want. And with the right person trained properly, knowing how to sell and handle customers, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
A good service writer can do $80,000 a year, a month, 80, 90,000 a month right now.
Absolutely.
But the numbers have gone up over the years. Really, and they can make or break your business because people want to do business with people they like.
That's right. They want relationships. So you need someone who wants to develop a relationship with your customers. And they've got to be that kind of personal person. Technicians are technicians. And one of the reasons why they're technicians, Peyton joked about it earlier, is cars don't yell back, right? They don't want to be mixing it up with the customers. They like working on vehicles. So let them. But let's get someone up front who really enjoys the game of people because they're out there. And there's a whole set of attributes that are needed in a good service advisor. And if you don't remember what they are, we've got a webinar on that, the attributes of a good service advisor, or call your consultant and they can get you the article on that. But it's just so vitally important. Now, you got to have a sales target for this person. That means you got to know what your bottom line is. You got to know what your break even is, or your estimated weekly expense. Some people call it a nut. You got to know what the nut is that you got to break. And I'm going to give you, and it should be showing up on your screen. There's a handout on how to figure this out. But you add up all your expenses for the past 4 months. Just take it right out of QuickBooks, or if you're still on the old checkbook method, out of your checkbook, add in any once-a-year expenses that aren't in that 4-month window, add in your replacement costs. And this is something that guys forget and gals forget to do is if you're working in your shop, you've got a value. And if you were to replace yourself in your shop, how much would it cost you? Well, if you're being your own service advisor, it's got to be at least $1,500 a week, and you're probably not paying yourself that. Well, that's a cost of doing business. So you got to add in your replacement costs. Now, when you get this big number, divide it by 4, because we looked at 4 months, and then divide it by 4.3, because we want to get it down to a weekly number. So I know how much to tell my service advisor, look, this is what we got to do. For you to make a bonus, we got to hit this number, right? Now, I'm not done with you yet, because this number is going to grow a little bit more. Now add your profit on top of this number. It's called burying your profits in the expenses of the business. If you don't make your profit one of the expenses of business, you'll never have any profit. So if your estimated expense for the shop is $10,000, it just became $12,000. The difference is your money. Now that's your weekly target. From that number, I can figure out everything else, how many build hours I've got to do, how many cars I've got to do. It is a key management tool for you to have. Peyton, do you keep on top of this number?
It's set every week. My service writer knows it. All my technicians know it. And once they break those targets, then we have other games that we use to play to get them up higher. But they know what they have to meet, because you have expenses every week. They never stop. And if you have a week that you're off half, it can take you 3-4 weeks to get back to just break even again.
Yeah.
So those targets have to be met, and they need to know what they're doing. They have to, it's just like you have a couple cars and you need a car done or 3 cars done today. You tell your technicians that stuff's got to go today. It's got to go. They need to be done. Well, it's the same thing with your service writer.
That's right.
You got to sell whatever. You could break it down to daily, hourly, whatever it is. I've heard some shop owners say, look, by 12 o'clock, I need you to have $2,500 worth of sales, depending on what their targets are.
Yeah.
So you break it down daily and weekly.
Yep, absolutely. It is a key management tool, knowing this number. Now, once again, we got to manage by statistics. We got to know our KPIs. You got to have the number of appointments, number of estimates written, number of estimates approved. What's your average ticket value? What's your gross sales? You got to know these numbers. You got to know these numbers weekly. You got to know these numbers daily. These are key management tools. And if you're trying to run this business without these numbers, Peyton, are they kidding themselves or what?
Yes, because they're, like you said, they're the gauges to your business right there. You have to know what's going on in your business, so where you can find where the problem might be. Is it a low car count? Is it truly a low car count? Or is something driving a low car count where the service writer's not taking on the work, or the guys aren't getting the work done? You have to be able to know what to look at. Because if the phone's ringing off the hook and you get a lot of people calling in, but you're not getting any work done, what's going on? Is there a production problem? What's going on?
Yep, absolutely. Got to know them. If you've got volume, but you have no money, and this is one of those ones that'll drive a business person crazy, go look at all the cash coming into this place. It's all going out the back door. Nothing's sticking. Well, the first place you want to look is your cost of parts. Your cost of parts is one of your primary gauges for monitoring profitability. Now, once again, I told you that there was something you could download, and I think you could see it, and that was calculating your owner's break-even. Is that there? Did you
see it?
You don't see it, Peyton?
No, you got a schedule up there or something, upcoming webinars. No, I don't see it.
Well, give us a call and we'll get it to you. But it was part of the handouts on this webinar. All right. So cost of parts is one of your primary gauges to monitoring profitability. Your guideline is to not exceed 25% of your gross sales. So that means every dollar, gross dollar that comes in, not more than 25 cents is going out for parts. If your collision or truck, it's not more than 32 cents is going out. Because you got to remember, every time these numbers go above those guidelines there, those benchmarks, it only comes out of one pocket, yours.
Mm-hmm.
And as Mike used to like to say, hey, it's only money. It's yours, right? So controlling this is huge. If your cost of parts is running in the red zone, I want you to look at these points. Your labor is not being charged correctly. Remember, your cost of goods is against your gross sales, not just part sales. So if your labor is not being charged correctly, it's going to run your cost of parts up. Your parts and material are not being correctly billed. Your parts and materials are being wasted. You got too many low profit jobs coming in. Your prices are too low, or your markup is all wrong, or it's all of these things going on. But you got to know what you're doing. And there is a high cost of part checklist. And I'm sorry that this little feature isn't working. Once again, give us a call and we can get that out to you. And
Oh, wait a second. Wait. I'm looking over here in handouts on the side.
yeah, do you see it?
Let me see. I kind of clicked on it. Yeah, it might open here. Allow. If it's going to open. Yeah, actually, yes, yes. I apologize. If you look on the side of the
Screen?
yeah, where you have like you can type in a question and it has your name and my name.
Yep.
Yeah, you got calculating owner's break even, high cost of parts checklist
Good.
document.
You can download
It's
those.
there. I apologize for missing that.
It's my gift to you. All right. Make sure all your parts and labor is documented on the customer's repair order. This is so easy to do, but it's so costly not to do. And this happens. You know, something gets used or a labor procedure gets done and it's not documented on the customer's ticket. It just walked out the door and you got nothing for it. So we got to make sure all parts and labor is documented on the customer's repair order. This is part of your processes, part of your systems that have got to be in place in the shop. You got to put controls in on supplies and materials. It's just a little bit here, it's a little bit there, but man, does that add up. Is that true, Peyton?
Absolutely. You gotta watch all your costs. That where you can get eaten alive a lot.
Yeah. Hardware, brake clean, silicone, all this stuff is getting god awful expensive, right? So let's make sure we got the controls in on our supplies and materials. Learn to use your tools effectively to create profitable estimates. Your parts and labor guide. Your service advisor's got to know how to use that tool. Your SMS, your shop management system, they've got to be very, very good at using these tools. If you're collision, you got to know how to use your forgettable list. You got to use your forgettable list because this stuff gets forgotten. And believe me, the insurance company isn't going to say, hey, by the way, I think you forgot to charge me for something. They're not going to do that. So you've got to remember to put it in your estimate. You got to know how to use your procedural pages, your P pages. All of this stuff adds up to a lot of money. Your cost of direct labor is another primary gauge for monitoring profitability. Your guideline for cost of labor, and that includes, this is loaded, your contributions to Social Security, health care, whatever else you got to legally pay to keep them on the floor, the taxes, is to not exceed 20%. For collision, for truck, it's 18%, right? So for every dollar that comes in, not more than 20 cents is going out to my labor costs. And you got to run it that way. Otherwise, you're not going to have the money. If your cost of labor is running in the red zone, look at these points. Wrong or bad pay plans, too many people on board, low or bad production, or all of it is going on. And the only way you really know is if you keep accurate statistics, if you watch your KPIs. Remember, all statistics are windows into your business. Statistics are just measuring something actually happening in the real world. It's just a measurement of something that's going on in the real world. And the numbers you want to measure are build hours, and if you're collision, your cycle time, and your technician efficiency. If he's there for 40 hours, did he bill 40 hours? That's 100% efficient. That's good. But I know guys can beat it. I know guys who are at 120% efficient. But too many shops are at 75% efficient. You know, the other way to check that is your effective labor rate. And that's just taking your gross sales and you divide it by the number of hours the guys were really there. And that'll tell you what your real labor rate is. You might have $100 posted, but there's a good chance your labor rate's only about $70 due to inefficiencies. So we got to get efficient real fast, like right now.
And Bob, on that point, Bob, recently I've been to a few events and guys are saying, no, nobody can do 100%. Nobody can be 100% efficiency. I want to tell you guys that is wrong. Don't take that data. A good B technician can be 100% efficient with a well-run shop with everything in place.
That's right. If your systems aren't in place, they're right. You can't get technicians to produce 100% because too much time is lost on confusions, on inefficiencies. But if you've got your systems in place, you've got your shop flow really in place, man, they can pop 100% all day long. Mm-hmm. Your guideline, and I'm being real generous here, this is very conservative. Technicians should minimally produce $20,000 in gross sales, not labor sales, parts and labor sales. So if you got 3 techs, minimally you should be doing 60,000. A lot of guys are doing that with 2 techs these days because of the labor rates. Because if you look at it, $100 labor rate, you should be at about $30,000 a month per tech if you're efficient. But let's just go for this, because if you're at 15, I'm telling you 30, you're out of your mind. But let's get up to 20, and you'll at least be better. When you got too many people on board, you lose big money. Gross sales divided by the number of employees should be a minimum of 15,000 per employee. So if I've got 5 total employees, I should be doing 75,000 a month. And as Peyton pointed out, a good service advisor these days can be selling alone $80,000 to $100,000 a month. They can do it. You just have got to have the systems in place. Too many people up front cost you big money, and that comes from more inefficiencies. Poor systems lead to inefficiencies, and it leads to too many people up front. I see this all the time in collision. General repair is not as bad, but collision, absolutely. So you got to get those systems in place. Oh, here's a polling question for you guys. What percentage of your shop flow is really in place? And don't worry, nobody can see your answers. So. This might be a hard question to answer. You do your best job at guessing at it, you know.
Well, if your shop flow is, you could relate that to your production.
You're right, you could.
How productive are your guys is probably how well your shop flow is in.
Yep. All right, let me close this and share it with you. Okay. Now, Peyton, you and I have talked about this many times. This is one area that can fall out in a heartbeat if you don't police it.
Absolutely. It is something that has to be watched all the time. And I'm going to tell you something that's huge is when you hire a new guy, don't assume he knows your program. Don't assume he could be a great tech, but don't assume that he knows your procedures or your shop flow program. You have to train that into him because they come from another place and they've never been taught what we teach them. So take your time and make sure you train the new people. Otherwise, they're just going to do what they know and not the way you want it or to flow in your shop.
Right, and they'll upset the flow of your shop.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, if you need help getting that back in place or improved, let us know. All right. Fixed salaries don't usually work. There's no incentive. I'm not saying your guys should be on flat rate. There is no one pay plan that's right for all shops, but having some kind of bonus, some kind of incentive is critical to improving efficiency, motivation, morale, all of these things. You got to have some kind of production-based pay plan for your sales and production people. You know, in California, we've got to guarantee a technician, if he's got his own tools, and of course they do, twice California minimum wage. So right out of the box, they're at, about $17 an hour for every hour they're there. So we work on low base, as low as you can go, which is not very low anymore, and high production bonus. But look, good technicians are worth it. You know, you get what you pay for. As Steve Eck likes to joke, he's offered his talents to the Chicago Cubs all the time. He says, hey, I'll pitch for you for free, and they won't take him up on it. Instead, they'll pay $8 million to someone. So, you know, don't be penny wise and dollar foolish. Customers have got to pay, and you got to know how to sell it. Polling question. How do you compensate your service writer? Let's ask this one. Okay. Let me close this and share it with you. All right. I see a problem right here. Peyton, what's the problem with an owner writing his own service?
He's stuck in his business and not working on his business.
Yep. It's so hard to run a business when you're writing service. Because, when you're writing service, your attention is on now, 5 minutes from now. Sally Jones' car at 5 o'clock. You have no time for planning, for doing your marketing. I'd tell you, your first thing you got to do is you got to hire a service writer. I remember years ago, I went over this concept with Mike Hines, and Mike. He's a great transmission shop up in New England. And Mike was a good service writer. He was a good salesman, because most transmission guys they had to be, because you had one shot at the customer. And I said, look, you got to get a service advisor, and you can't run this business writing your own service. And he fought me on it. And he finally hired someone, got him in. And at the end of the first week, Mike is going through the ROs, and he finds this one RO, and his new service writer got like $300 more for a transmission than he would ever dream of trying to get for this transmission. And he walked out and asked the service writer. He showed the service writer the ticket. He goes, John, how did you get this much for this job? And John looked at the ticket and looked at Michael and said, I told the customer the price.
Well, that is true. The owners tend to give shit away. We do give stuff away, and that's another reason to get off the counter, because you got good customers and stuff.
That's right.
But you're right. Owners have to live in the future, and when you're working in the business, you can't look to the future. It makes it much more difficult. I've done it. I've written service for years, but once you get to that point, you want to get your business expanding, you got to get another person in there.
Yeah.
You might help them a little bit. You might help that service writer in a pinch, and sometimes when they get very busy. But you want to get a person in there trained so you can expand your business.
Yeah, because once you get off the counter, I guarantee you'll never want to get back on it. Not as a full-time job. The freedom you enjoy once you're off that counter, boy, is it wonderful. So that's my tip for you. Get yourself a service advisor. All right, final black hole is personal expenses. Keep your business and personal family finances separate. Don't mix the two. Don't bleed the business dry. Remember, it's the goose that lays the golden egg. You got to manage this correctly. You got to do it right. All right, my last polling question for you today is, what areas of your business concern you the most? Let me launch this. Okay, let me close the poll and share it with you. Yeah, all of the above is pretty normal, and profit, I understand.
Yeah.
Hopefully some of the tips we gave you today will help you. But if you really want to get to the bottom of what's going on in your business, I'm going to invite you to take advantage of a brand new service Management Success has, and it's really inexpensive. It's called the Shop Business Analysis. That's not Small Business Administration. That's Shop Business Analysis, where we really get down and dirty and take the business apart and find out what you're doing right, so that you can support that, and where are your weak points so that we can start getting those fixed. It's wonderful. You don't have to leave your shop. It's done all online and via telephone calls. And it's probably the most comprehensive service Management Success has offered as an introductory service. And I invite you to do it. Peyton, you looked into this. What did you think?
Absolutely. I sat in on a few of the cycles, and it is amazing how in detail they get into your shop. I mean, from where things are positioned in your shop, how the shop flow is, how your technicians, they break the profit, the loss. You have to give them some information, but it is a great service. It is well worth the money and the time. You'll find out a lot about what's going right and what might be going wrong.
Right.
It's just not negative. They're going to show you the good and the bad. They're going to show you everything, and it is a very, very valuable service for the time you get from Management Success, the consultant, to go over it and break your shop down area by area. Well worth your time and effort.
Right. And the consultants, because there's 3 consultants that work with you on this, and one of them is Brandon. So you're going to get an in-depth social media evaluation. And one is Jim Smith, if some of you guys remember Jim Smith. And then it's either Robbie or David Saline, one of those guys. Sometimes it's even Peyton. And we're going to have you take pictures or videos of your shop so that we can see exactly what you're looking at. Because, you know, if there was one thing in all the years I was on the road that people would say to me is, you got to see my shop. It's different. Well, in this one, we see your shop so that we understand what you're up against so that we can steer you right. So take advantage of this. There's a survey popping up. Indicate that you'd like to know more about it, and we can help you. So in summary, folks, control your sales, control your cost of parts, control your cost of labor. Be fair with the customer, but by golly, be fair with yourself, and watch bleeding that dang business of yours. I want to thank you so much for attending. There's going to be a survey that's going to pop up. Please, please, please fill it out. Otherwise, my marketing people, they beat me up if I don't get you to do this. So please do that for me. Once again, thanks so much for attending. I wish you nothing but success. Hey, Peyton, thanks for your help. I always appreciate it.
Okay, anytime, Bob. And if you guys need to call me, you got my number, so you can call me pretty much anytime.
Great.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck. Have a great night. Bye-bye.